Hello everyone, this is Social Free State from socialfreestate.com. I'm going to be doing a bit of a concerned piece about a tweet by Anne-Marie Waters. I came across this, it was a retweet by somebody else on my Twitter page, and it's about a Breitbart article which is written in 2018. Now, I don't know whether this is in relation to America or the UK, but this has been the case in the UK since 2010. And I responded to this tweet of Anne-Marie Waters with my own retweet, and I stated this has been the case for a long time, which I realised when defending my own rape case. I've actually known about this since 2010 when it came out, because I've always been fighting my own cases with regards to the Equality Act, which not many people appear to know about for some reason, and you should do. So I'm going to educate you on it quickly and briefly, but I do recommend that you learn about the Equality Act. I stated, luckily I had a tumour when I was raped, which fitted me in the minority group, because had I not have been raped during when I had a brain tumour or some other type of disability, then I probably wouldn't have had the same care provided to me within the legal system and the courts. Now, this is what I took to court with me. Why did I take this? This is called the Equality Act 2010, Public Sector Equality Duty. Well, of course, our courts are public sector. The judges who work within the courts, they have to abide by the public sector equality duty. And on page 4, because I am disabled or considered disabled under law because of what I'm going through, it states complying with the equality duty may involve treating some people better than others, as far as this is allowed by discrimination law. Now then, I just want to take you to another page which tells you what's actually applicable, what areas and public bodies are applicable, and that's in Schedule 19, another piece of paper which I took to court with me. Ministers of the Crown and government departments. And of course, that would include the judges and the courts themselves. Security service, worryingly, the Secret Intelligence Service, which is why, more than likely, we are seeing a whole lot of right-wing activists being arrested and taken to prison or whatever it is. And there's a lot of punishment against mildly mannered right-wing activists, and their offences are taken to a whole different level. I wonder why. Are things clicking? The British Broadcasting Corporation, well, we have seen this whole big flare out with regards to the whole, what is it, wage difference in wages and all of that kind of thing, and ensuring that we see more minority groups on the television. Oh, look at that. Who would have thought it? Television, the Channel 4 Television Corporation. Oh, well, there you go. Armed forces. Haven't we been seeing a lot of videos lately or commercials which have been talked about on YouTube with regards to the armed forces? And we're seeing lots of Muslim people on these adverts, and we're also seeing gay people on the adverts. Isn't this deeply concerning when you look at Schedule 19? Court services, criminal justice, inspector of constabulary. Oh, I wonder why a lot of items aren't getting investigated. Oh, don't want to see inequality within our public sector, do we? The Crown Prosecution Service. Prisons. prisons, we've been seeing a lot of these sorts of situations go on. We're seeing a lot of white prisoners be put in extreme conditions in the prison service. And do you know what else is being discussed recently? I'll tell you. They are considering paying for, with your tax money, transgender prisons, but they haven't been discussing it on television. It's just being discussed academically currently. There are all sorts of things. A health centre, a health service, the local government. We're seeing a lot more Asian people in the councils and all of that kind of thing. Educational bodies. Well, we're seeing a lot of transgenderism being brought into our education system. And they're also being very vague when they're talking about faith schools with extremist views, as if it's the Christians who are being extreme in their teachings. The police, oh, who would have thought it? Police not preventing crime of certain criminals. Who would have thought it? And this goes on. It's a 12-page list of all those who are included, but yes, the secret intelligence service is in there as well. How concerning. Now, I was talking, what I do is I watch on YouTube. Someone asked me what I do, who I watch on YouTube. To be honest with you, I don't watch too much alt-right content. I just watch the people who I have been speaking to predominantly. What I do actually watch is I watch a lot of Jews, I watch a lot of Muslims, I watch a lot of socialists, communists, Antifa, and left-wing commentators as well. Why do I watch? And I think that who you really need to look out for is the Muslim commentators. Why is the World Health Organization relevant to this piece? Well, the World Health Organization talks about genital mutilation. And for some reason, these very intelligent people who are looking after us and leading us seem to omit a word from female genital mutilation. They omitted a word which was consensual or consent. And this is something which is being discussed on Muslim channels. The reason why it's so important to me to watch Muslim channels is because they are talking about this. And they are talking about this. And they are talking about our legislation, our local national legislation, our European legislation, and our world legislation. And this is something which is why I'm talking about it myself, because I am greatly concerned that this is being discussed openly on the internet with advice given to other people so that they can fight natives, basically. The World Health Organization, it doesn't include the word consensual. So why do you think that's relevant? I'll explain. There are a lot of Muslims on YouTube who are stating that they can argue this case for female genital mutilation and win their case because they can argue it in comparison to transgender operations. Because the word consent is not written in, it means that they are, in their culture, allowed to enact the whole female genital mutilation legally under the World Health Organization. Can you believe it? So that is their argument. Their argument is that the Western society are allowed to allow for women to undergo what they consider mutilation, genital mutilation, and they allow it with consent, and they are arguing, these Muslim people, that they should be allowed to also provide female genital mutilation on the basis that the word is not in there. My concern is that when Breitbart and when Anne-Marie Waters are talking about this in 2018, these people on YouTube are so far ahead of you. It is so concerning. And what's more is that I'm finding that when I talk about legislation and when I talk about what is I would consider to be very unwise to change legislation with regards to voting systems, and I lose so many subscribers because you're taking offense to it, it's not surprising that we are so far behind. There's all this stuff about race realism, discussing how, these cultures are unintelligent. They are not unintelligent. These people are very clever. They are very manipulative. They are providing and exchanging information about our legislation and our legal system and the world over, not just the world, but also on the continents. They are exchanging this information to use it and find words which are omitted or not written in to these pieces so that they can work and abuse the system. And I can't believe that these people who are leading the World Health Organization, they would have known when they were writing this stuff up that there were cultures which did this. They would have known that there were cultures which, in their ideology, they need to remove and cut people's genitalia up. They would have known this stuff, and yet they are not writing it into their legislation properly. And these people are leading us and leading this whole situation. I've written in a piece on my blog about Europe genocide. There is a genocide in Europe, and it is recognised under international law and the legal system, and it's recognised by the UN as well. I really recommend you go and read that. I'm going to be talking a lot more about international law, legislation, and our local, national, and continental legislation. It's deeply concerning to me that these people know how to manipulate the system, and they are having free flowing discussions on the internet and on platforms, and all everyone seems to be doing is focusing on the alt-right and the other thing, what are they called? The skeptics, and just the arguments between them. Honestly, you have to be a lot smarter than this. You have to be so much smarter than this because they are manipulating the legal system. And you know that they are manipulating the legal system because we are seeing that those men who are committing these crimes against girls who belong to minority groups, they are getting basically nothing as a sentence. Please start smartening up. Please. This is terrifying. There's a whole exchange of information going on the YouTube, and I am such a small, tiny channel, and my message and my concerns are not going to get through to people, and I'm seeing loads of people take offense to my concerns with regards to women's votes and all that kind of thing, and I just don't see that people are seeing a bigger picture at all right now. They're getting so easily offended, and you need to get beyond that. You need to start seeing the bigger picture, honestly. This is affecting our secret intelligence service and how they deal with terrorism. And I would be considered as a terrorist in some cases. Just discussing this, and it will be one day a terrorist act. So please, please wake up and don't get so offended. People are going to disagree with you, and start wisening up and opening your ears and listening to channels which you probably are going to get very, very irritated by, such as those who are Muslims. And I would really recommend that you do not make comments or anything like that. Just listen to what they have to say and start being a little bit smarter. Okay, thank you. I hope that this information and the information that I provide in my content is helpful. Please subscribe if you want to know and learn more about our international, national, and European laws, because this is what I want to focus on. I don't really want to focus on politics. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.